Okay, I unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Yes, and I think we're about to go live. There's a 20-second delay, and we should be going live any second. We should see our faces pop up. Oh, technology today.
No. Thank you. My husband is staying just out of frame because
Awesome.
I'm so bad with technology.
Oh, good. There we go. I think we're live.
Okay.
We're live. Hi, Krista.
Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you so much for doing this.
I'm so happy to do it. I love Station 19 and I love this episode, and I'm so happy to support SeriesFest.
Oh, thank you. Well, for everyone joining us who maybe don't know about SeriesFest, SeriesFest is a nonprofit organization dedicated to champion artists at the forefront of episodic storytelling. We do that through year-round initiatives, educational programs, professional development opportunities, and then we culminate in a 6-day festival every year in June. Unfortunately, this year, under current circumstances, we're not going to be doing a live festival, but we will be doing a virtual festival. So please sign up for a newsletter and check our website to hear more about that. And because we are a nonprofit, events like this would not be possible without our amazing sponsors. So I just want to do a shout out to tonight's sponsors, Shondaland, Once Upon a Time Productions, and JP Morgan Chase and Company. Thank you so much for your support and your donations. And again, since we are a nonprofit, we do take donations from everyone. So you can see a little button down below that says donate. This is a free event. However, every dollar counts and it keeps us going, and we're able to give you more programming like this. So if you can, suggested donation is $10, but whatever you can give, we'd be really grateful for.
Amazing.
So,
I can have that button, but maybe
I'll send it to you. I think it's different. I think they're saying something different on YouTube. Krista is the showrunner of Grey's Anatomy and Station 19. So we're gonna jump in and talk about those shows, but first I just wanted to check in and see how are you doing during this crazy time in this quarantine?
You know, I'm okay. I am so privileged to have, a house with a yard, and I can go outside, and we're taking it very seriously. We have a 15-year-old who's asthmatic, so it's a frightening, we're just taking it really seriously. So yeah. We've just been home for 5 weeks straight, and my husband goes to the grocery store once a week, and that's what we're doing. And we're all healthy. I guess my answer just these days is I'm healthy and my loved ones are healthy, and that's as good as it gets right now.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I saw on Twitter and Instagram that you were loving Mary Neely's posts.
Oh my God.
I watched your Instagram live with her the other day.
I love her so much. I was just a fangirl. I was so excited that she would talk to me.
For those of you who don't know, Mary Neely has been doing these posts where she takes these musicals and she plays all the parts and lip syncs, and it's incredible. But you were saying that you love them so much because you were a theater kid. So I was wondering, have you known your whole life that you wanted to be in this industry? Did you always see this path for yourself? And how did you end up writing and becoming a showrunner?
Oh, well, yes and no. I was an actor. I went to college. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in acting, and and I was an actor and a waitress until I was in my late 20s. I figured out that I loved writing while I was still in college, but I listened to all the people who loved me, who told me that, I took a playwriting class my senior year of college, and I felt gratified when we produced the play in a completely different way than I ever felt when I was acting. It felt like I'd discovered something. It felt like I had come to life. And And I was like 21 years old and I was like, I'm quitting acting. I'm going to be a writer. And everyone who loved me told me that I was clearly just afraid to go out in the world and try to be an actor, because I was about to graduate and I went to Boston University. It was a really great acting program, and it was really hard to graduate from it. Like, there were talent-based cuts every semester, and we had started with 60 students. We were graduating only 16 of us, and suddenly to decide your senior year that like your whole education is not what you want to do and you want to do this other thing, people thought it was a fear-based decision, and I listened to those people for a long time. So I kept writing like a hobby, but pursued acting as a career. And it wasn't until I had made my living acting in regional theater for a year that I gave myself permission to quit acting. I might be the only person who was ever pressured by her whole family not to quit acting. But I've been reading Glennon Doyle's book Untamed, which is amazing, and I recommend it to everybody. And one of the things she talks about is trusting your own knowing. And I didn't have the self-esteem yet to trust my own knowing when I was 21. And so finally, when I felt like I had met some set of prescribed parameters, I gave myself permission to do the thing that I knew I wanted to do and that was easier for me and felt better to me. And I moved to LA to pursue television writing, because I took one screenwriting class at the New School when I was waiting tables in New York. And the teacher, whose name I wish I could remember, told me that I had an ear for dialogue like a television writer, that I could really be a television writer even more than a screenwriter, because I thought in dialogue, because I grew up in theater. My whole education was in theater, and television is more similar to plays than it is to movies.
Right. And
That's
so
the answer, sorry.
no, I mean, it's a beautiful answer. I love that. And I'm sure so many people, and I know our community are a lot of creators, and a lot of them are actually multi-hyphenates. They're actors, writers, directors that submit their pilots, and they do multiple things. And so I'm sure a lot of people are inspired by that, to know, to follow your knowing. And it's funny, I have Untamed sitting next to my bed right now, and I haven't opened it yet. So
oh God,
I'm just happy to go do it.
It's amazing. And if I can offer some advice based on what you just said, do you want some unsolicited advice for the multi-hyphenates?
We would love it. We would all love it.
I really believe that it's great to be a multi-hyphenate, but the way that you break in is by picking one thing and focusing on it. So even if you're writing, directing, producing, and starring in your own short film, pick a thing that you think is your primary love. Like, what is the thing when you sit still, you're like, I couldn't live without, like I light up most at, I feel the most relaxed when. For me, it's writing. And I have recently begun directing, and I have never acted again since I quit acting, except at sometimes at the table reads, I take a guest star role. But pick the thing and pursue that path with your whole heart. Like when you send in your short film, are you a director primarily? Then don't try to sell yourself also as an actor, and don't try to also promote the writing. I think that when you pick a path and you put all of your energy into that one path, it's easier to get in, and then you hyphenate. It's an energy, it's almost an energy thing. And listen, this was the advice I gave myself, and it worked for me. And things may have changed a little bit, because in the 20 years since I've begun working in Hollywood, technology has changed. So it's easier for you guys to be multi-hyphenates simultaneously. But I still think that breaking in as one thing and then diversifying is the easier. What I've noticed is that if people go like, I'm a writer, actor, director, there's a feeling in the receiving of that, almost like you haven't picked a thing.
Yeah.
Almost like it's flaky, and it's not, and I'm not saying that it is, but I've watched people have that reaction of like, okay, whereas if somebody approaches with, I am an aspiring hour-long television writer. I have written 7 writing samples in that area. I feel like they've done the work to build up expertise in one area.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. So you moved out to LA, you started writing. How did you come to start writing on Grey's and start working with Shondaland?
I had been writing television for 5 or 6 years when I went out. There's a thing called staffing season, which is like pilot season for actors, where it's the season when all the pilots are looking for writers. So you go on a whole bunch of job interviews before you even know if the pilot has been picked up to series, and you hope to be on their hire list when their pilot gets ordered to series. So it's a lot. It's exhausting because you read 80 pilots and you try to get the meetings, and then you drive around to all the meetings and you try to impress. And I went out that season. I read all the pilots and I called my agent and I said, I need a meeting with this Shonda Rhimes person because her voice is so similar to mine. And one of the keys to success in television writing is being able to set aside your own voice and write in the voice of the creator, which is, I think this is the only one of the, sometimes with a magazine, you have to write in the voice of the magazine, but really it's, I think, unique to television that you're really trying to not write in your own voice. You're trying to write in someone else's voice.
Right.
Does that make sense? So, so I had not been very successful at Wonder Falls, because not every good writer can write every show. It's like you could be a great writer, but fail to channel the voice of that creator. So I was on a show called Wonder Falls, which was wonderful, but I was rewritten page 1 every time. And I just couldn't get Brian Fuller's voice. It was too different from mine. So I went into staffing season looking for a voice that was naturally closer to mine. And I pursued the meeting with Shonda. And my agent said, that show doesn't have any heat. Patrick Dempsey is a pilot killer. Don't waste your time.
No.
And I was like, and he was right at the time. Patrick Dempsey was a pilot killer. He'd done a whole bunch of pilots that hadn't gone to series. But I was like, I got to meet this writer because her voice feels like mine and I want to meet her. I feel like we're sisters, like I wanted to meet her. So I went and this is my memory of the first time I met Shonda. I was sitting in the waiting area talking to her assistant about American Idol. The first season of American Idol, Tamara Kelly Clarkson was on, and we started chatting about American Idol. And I hear from inside the main office, where there's like a break between job interviews, don't talk about that without me. Because Shonda had like a blog or whatever was the technology at the time. Shonda and her sister were like every week talking about him. They were obsessed with American Idol. So I went in and we talked about American Idol for 45 minutes and I left. Like that was my job interview. But that's often the job interview in TV is if you've got the meeting, they've already read your writing. So
right.
The job is this a person I want to hang out with for 40, 50, 60 hours a week for the next 10 months? And so Shonda and I hit it off and she hired me and that was, and then her pilot got picked up and she hired me and I went and I was there. And because my voice was so similar to hers, I rose very quickly to her sort of right hand. And I was there for the first 7 seasons.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And now you're back and doing Grey's and Station 18.
Yes.
It's like, when do you sleep? I want to take some questions from the audience because I'm just looking at time. So I think that in regards to Station 19, how do you get all your ideas from the storylines you write, and what is the moment in Station 19 you enjoy to write the most?
Okay. I have just an incredible team of writers who surround me at Station 19. So the ideas come from conversations in the writer's room. We sit around and we tell stories from our lives and we talk about things we've read in the newspaper, real life first responder stuff, or Kylie Donovan, who's my number 2 at Station 19, comes from a family of firefighters. She'll tell stories that her cousins have told her. Our ideas come from, it's a really diverse group of people from really interesting, eclectic backgrounds, and everyone brings like different life experience, and they pitch and we build the show from there. And honestly, my favorite thing I've written for this season, for this show, was episode 310, which you all just watched. And my favorite act to write was the Travis act. The trying to help Travis understand that he's brave. I feel like there are so many of us in the world who are brave or extraordinary in some way, and we subvert or disbelieve. Like, we'd rather believe that someone else is weak than that we're strong. So that message felt really important, and I loved doing it through Travis.
I love that, and I'm excited. We're gonna have Jay in a few minutes pop in, so we can talk more about it.
So beautifully. And Tracy Toms, oh man, Tracy Toms,
So
how good is she as the therapist? Oh, I love her.
I love her. I love her work. Someone asked this question and now I can't find it, but it was a question of mine as well. How do you do all of the crossovers and run 2 rooms at once? And is it like one big room and then it splits off like that? Opening of season 3, the crossover that you did, like, I just can't even imagine. I'd love to hear how you do that and run your room.
There are 2 rooms, and they're about 20 feet apart from each other across a courtyard. And do you hear this? Can you hear this? There's like teenagers running. I think Ben is dancing over my head. I'm working in the living room. Yeah, I think he's dancing. He takes dance class. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it. Is it like, what is it, tap or something, or hip hop? What is it?
He's doing hip hop.
I love it.
Over my head. He's so good. I've been so proud watching him get better and better. He stopped. His dad stopped him. Okay, so there's 2 writers' rooms. They're right across the courtyard from each other. I go back and forth. It's sort of a morning at the Grey's Anatomy room and an afternoon at the Station 19 room in the early part of the season. There's one writer who I mentioned, Kylie Donovan, who's on both shows. So she comes back and forth with me, thank God, because I wouldn't remember. She's like the other half of my memory of, we talked about this at Grey's, we talked about that at Grey's, how could it work over here? Oh, there's this pitch at Station 19, could that work over here? I can't remember who pitched. I wish I could shout out the writer who pitched the car through the wall at Joe's. It wasn't me. But man, was that it was great. It is super crazy. It is super crazy, particularly this past season. Station 19 was a mid-season show, but it started shooting right around the same time that Grey's was shooting. So that episode 301 of Station 19 was shooting at the same time as 1602 of Grey's Anatomy.
Oh my God.
So we had the amount of tracking to try to make everything consistent between those 2 hours, which shot months apart. Like, it was a massive feat of hundreds of people. You know, the designers working with each other, the writers working with each other, the actors calling and going, like, for example, Barrett had to call me, and Jesse, when they were shooting 301 of Station 19, they were still shooting 1602 of Grey's. So they were calling and going like, what has happened on Grey's Anatomy between 1602 and 1610? Like, what are we talking about? Like, they haven't seen any of those scripts or played any of those scenes. It was all shot out of order. It was unbelievably difficult. And I was so proud of what we managed. There were a couple of mistakes, but all things considered, I think we pulled it off pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was incredible. I was, watching and was like at the edge of my seat. It was intense and amazing and really incredible how you constantly do the crossovers all season. And I look at like a character like Chandra Wilson's Bailey. You started writing her, 16 years ago. And how does that feel to continue her voice, not only on Grey's, but now bringing it over into this world? What is it like writing a character for that long?
Chandra particularly, hi. Hi, I'm just answering a question. And then
we'll talk to you. But you're muted, so take yourself off mute.
Chandra is amazing. She's an extraordinary talent, and Bailey is a joy to write all these years later. And she's the same character on both shows, but interestingly, she's like the boss at Grey's Anatomy, and at Station 19, she's the wife. It's a really unique, we function a little differently at work than we do at home. We function a little differently in all of our dynamics. So that's what's amazing to me when I watch what Chandra's doing on Station 19. It's not only in the writing, she actually is playing a slightly softer, she's playing Ben's wife who worries about him and doesn't have to boss anyone around over here. You know? So, hi, Jay Hayden.
Hi, Krista. How are you?
Oh my God, I love you're in your child's room. You've stuffed animals behind your head.
I promised my daughter that I would sneak her favorite stuffed animal in every interview that I do during the quarantine. So that's Henry's here.
Amazing.
Yeah. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. I miss.
I know.
I miss hugs.
I know. I miss hugs too.
Crazy.
Yeah. I'm going to see a bunch of the cast tonight.
I heard. Tell everybody what you're doing.
We're, LA Fire Station Battalion 12 is going to do a little impromptu, informal kind of healthcare workers, doctors, nurses appreciation. So we're gonna be over at the Mission Hills Holy Cross Medical Center, and we're gonna clap them out for those that are leaving their shift and those that are coming on. And we're just going to, firefighters, police officers, we're gonna stand way. So there's gonna be a long stretch of people staying way away from each other. And we're just gonna clap them out and cheer them on and just say thank you. And that
That's so good. That's so good. I love these.
It's really amazing.
Very least we can do. But yeah, we'll be doing air hugs. Like you said, we all miss each other so much.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, Jason, oh.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird to not be able to hug your friends.
It is. It is.
So
what's up?
Did you meet Haley?
We go way back to 2008. We worked together in 2008. So I've loved watching his career blossom, and it's so fun to see him and reconnect. When we found out we were doing this, I shot him a message and I was like, please come do this with us. So
I love that.
Yeah. So but we were actually talking before you hopped on, Jay, just about the episode and Travis and Krista was saying how much how that was her favorite part of writing this episode. With that moment about bravery. For you, what was it like after playing this character for 3 seasons and all of a sudden learning, why you became a firefighter and having so much revealed, and it was such a vulnerable and beautiful performance. So I'd love to hear from you what that experience was like.
Well, thank you. And it was, I was super lucky and blessed that I got to, like, part of my character's backstory, like the juicy part that you always want as an actor, was written by my showrunner. So I was super duper lucky in that respect. But I think every actor loves that moment where you get to find out what makes the character tick. And I remember when I first met Krista, she was like, I'm going to have you come in. I want you to sit down with me and the writers, and we just want to get to know you. We want to see who you are, what makes you tick, where you're from, what your essence is. And then after I left that day and said all the things, she kind of walked me out, put a hand on my back, and she's like, so that's what I want to figure out about Travis this year. I want to figure out who he is, right? And I was like, oh my God, I love this woman. God. So it was great. And that, that's like one of those moments where you get to find out what motivates him, what influences him, what urges him on. So it was an amazing experience for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So beautifully acted. So beautifully played.
Thank you. You're not, a lot of times we have to be flexible as actors, right? Because things change, and we're not gonna always know the complete length of where our characters came from. You play an idea, and your showrunner will be like, this is what I'm thinking, blah, blah, blah. It's nothing's ever set in stone, but just play, and then we'll figure it out when we need to figure it out. So, like, when you're given the information, it was so beautifully written. Thank you, Krista. And it was so easy. It was just so easy. It just, when you don't have to work hard and you just kind of let the words come through you, then you're kind of in the pocket. So
that's how I feel about that whole script. I think that I wrote that script on an airplane from New York to LA.
Yeah.
And it was like we say in therapy, like, oh, it only took 45 years and this hour to do, but it felt like it took me 25 years of therapy and 6 hours on an airplane to write that episode. Like it just it was like it came through me. It was easy, and you all made it so easy. It was so beautiful. And let me tell you, the willingness that Jay had to put on the drag, but like the Rocky Horror Picture Show drag, he was like, if we're doing this, we're going all out, Krista. We're doing fishnets. I was like, go, because I'm so proud of that. I have a foster son who's 20. How old is Kynan now? 24 maybe now, and he's a drag queen. He's become a drag queen. His name is High Waisted Jean. And I've been so proud of him. He's so beautiful. She's so beautiful, and he's so beautiful. And as I was writing that, I was aware that you never see a man in drag be a hero on television. They're always a victim. They're always being mocked or tortured or beat up. And the idea of putting a man in full drag and having him shoulder through a door and wrestle a domestic violence, assaulter to the ground was like really, sincerely, one of my favorite things I've written and that been brought to life by an actor in my 20-year career.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I mean, it wasn't so fun running, sprinting in heels, but the experience altogether was fun.
You were amazing. It was amazing. And I think it probably affected some lives to see themselves depicted as heroes.
Yeah. People reached out to me on social media, and it made me feel good. Like that some people felt related to, people felt like their story was being told in a way, and that made me feel like a storyteller. That made me feel like I'm doing my job. So,
I love it.
Yeah. That's awesome. We have a question for you, Jay, from someone on YouTube. I'm sorry, I hope I don't butcher your name, Alina Johnson, and she wants to know what's your favorite Travis moment so far. I know we've been talking about this moment. If it was this, maybe something else that you've loved.
I really felt like, to be honest, a lot of times, you struggle growing up with your parents, and like they have ideology and beliefs and the way that, and expectations of how you should grow up and what you should believe in, and they don't line up. And so a lot of times there's conflict, and I felt like the episode where we did, which was Ice Ice Baby, where I talked to the woman, Travis talks to the woman on the phone, and she's very religious. And he has that moment where he knows about being religious because he was raised that way. And though he's not in that space right now, he kind of goes there for her as she's going out. And I thought that was a really beautiful moment. And that meant something to me personally, because, my parents have beliefs, I have my beliefs, and never the two shall meet. But there's a love there, like a reach across kind of, that was special to me personally.
It was so beautiful. That episode was pitched in the room, I think initially by Cinquay Henderson, and written by Rob Giles, and directed so beautifully by Tessa Blake. It was really all of the artists and Jay and Felicia Rashad, who voiced the woman on the phone, Pilar. The whole thing was, I was so moved by that episode too. Yeah.
I can't believe how fast time is going, because we're almost to our end. I know that the season premiere hasn't aired yet, but someone had asked, what are you both looking forward to? Greaser Magoo asked, what are you looking forward to in season 4?
Greaser Magoo. Oh, in season 4, Krista, you're up. This one's you.
Well, I'm looking forward to airing the last 3 seasons. There's still, or 3 episodes. There's still 3 more episodes of Station 19 season 3 that have not yet aired. They will air beginning next week. And in season 4, I'm just excited that we get to do a season 4. And
Me too.
I'm looking forward to, I'm hoping that we won't be shooting as out, like I'm hoping that the job of doing the 2 shows will get easier in terms of the timeline for all of us. I'm looking forward to having Jay on Grey's Anatomy at some point in season 4.
I would love to.
This is a joke because 3 times I put
We
him in
haven't-
Anatomy episodes this year and then cut him out because the script was too long or the story changed. And
Listen, it's gonna be great when it happens. We're building the fans' anticipation of it.
yeah, I'm just looking forward to continuing these stories. I feel like I imagine we're going to have to integrate COVID somehow into our storytelling. And what is it to be a first responders are, wow, like it's like they're always heroes and it's next level right now. And I think that, I'm going to gather the writers for both shows in a few weeks and we're going to start talking about season 17 and season 4. So I don't have a better answer right now because those writers are everything to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. I understand.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much. I literally feel like I could sit here and talk to you guys all night, but I know you're going to go to the hospital, which is amazing.
I gotta drive to Mission Hills with a mask on. Yes.
I'm
Oh
so
my goodness.
excited you're doing that.
That's so nice of you to do that. And thank you both so much for talking with us, and Krista for your advice. I know our community of creators really appreciated that, and Jay for popping in. And everyone who's still watching, if you missed this at the beginning, SeriesFest is a nonprofit organization. We could not do this without our sponsors. So thank you again to Shondaland, Once Upon a Time Productions, and JP Morgan Chase Company for tonight. And there is a donate button on YouTube. Any donation, this was a free event, but a suggested donation of $10 would be amazing, or $1, whatever you can give. We'd just be ever so grateful so we can continue bringing you guys awesome programming like this. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful night and stay safe.
Nice to see you both.
Good seeing you.
Bye.
Bye.